fourth grade. Today we're going to work on adding and subtracting fractions. So I have this word problem that we're going to solve together. I'm going to start by reading the problem. Dan and Mike cut 3 1/5 feet of plywood for a school project. Then they cut 2 2/5 feet of sandpaper. How many total feet of plywood and sandpaper did they cut? Okay, I'm going to reread the question and write a solution statement. How many total feet of plywood and sandpaper did they cut? They cut a total of blank feet of plywood and sand. Oh, I'm running out of room. Paper. Okay, so let's think about what this problem's asking us to do. They cut a total of blank feet. Well, if I need to get a total amount that they cut, I should probably add. I'm thinking maybe I need to add the total plywood with the total amount of sandpaper. I'm gonna do SP for sandpaper. Because when I add those two together, it's gonna be the total of both of them. So I know that plywood, they cut 3 1/5 of the plywood. And I know sandpaper, they cut 2 2/5. So I think I need to add these two numbers together. Great, so how do I do that? I'm glad you asked. I have to add these two, and what do we notice about these two numbers? Hopefully you said that they are mixed numbers. A mixed number is whenever we have a whole number and a fraction, so a whole and part of a whole. Okay, so I kind of think that the easiest way to add these together would be to do a little bit of decomposing. So I'm actually going to decompose and break this apart. I'm going to do 3 plus 1/5. That's the same thing as 3 1/5. I'm going to add that with 2 plus 2/5. Okay, I didn't change this at all, did I? I just broke the wholes and the fractions apart. And I'm still adding them all together. So I'm going to add my wholes first. 3 plus 2. 3 plus 2 is 5. And now I'm going to add my fractional pieces. 1/5 plus 2/5, that makes 3/5. Remember, I don't add my denominators together. The denominators are just telling me how many pieces I need to make a whole. I have 1/5 and then I have 2/5. So how many fifths do I have? I have 3/5. Okay, so what is 5 plus 3/5? It's just 5 3/5. Easy enough, right? I added my whole numbers together and then I added my fractions together. So they cut a total of 5 3/5 feet of plywood and sandpaper. Hopefully you thought that was pretty easy. Let's try a different one. When the party began, there were 5 5/6 pizzas. Colin and his buddies ate 4 1/6 pizzas. How much pizza was left? How much pizza was left? There was blank pizza left. Okay. I'm thinking I might have to subtract in this problem because I know when they began, this is how much pizza they had. That's kind of like the total, right? They had a total of 5 5/6 pizza. Colin and his buddies, they ate this, so we're taking what they ate out of that total. 4 1/6. How much pizza was left? Okay, so it looks like I need to subtract to solve this problem. So I need to do 5 and 5 6 minus 4 and 1 6. Okay, this one's a little more tricky if I decompose because I don't really want to accidentally like subtract the wrong numbers or add the wrong numbers. So I think what I want to do, and then I know this is going to look kind of weird, but I kind of want to line it up like I would any other time I subtract with place value. So I'm just going to make like a little chart. I think this will help me. I'm going to do wholes and fractions. Okay, so my whole number is 5, and my fraction is 5 6. Now I'm going to subtract, I'm going to take away 4 wholes and 1 6. Okay, so what do I have left? Well, 5 6 minus 1 6, I know that if I have 5 6 and I take away a 6, that's going to leave me with 4 6. So 4 6. 5 minus 4, I have 1 whole left over. So there we go. This was our total number, right? 5 and 5 6, and we took away 4 and 1 6. So what was left over was 1 and 4 6 of the pizzas. Oh, I should put an S because I have 1 whole pizza still left. Okay. How do you guys feel about this so far? Is this making sense? Does this seem pretty simple? Well, let's test your knowledge and see. I'm going to give you a problem. It's going to be kind of harder than the problems I just solved. And I want you to try and see if you can solve this problem. So go ahead and pause this video and try solving this problem for yourself first. Then when you hit play, you can watch me solve it and we can see how you did. Go ahead and hit pause. Okay, so hopefully you have an answer. I'm going to start by reading the problem. So during the bike race, we traveled 17 3/4 miles from the starting point. Oh, wow, this is kind of confusing. Then we rode back 5 1/4 miles and stopped for lunch. How many miles were we from the starting point when we stopped for lunch? Okay, let me really reread this question slowly and think about what they're asking. How many miles were we from the starting point when we stopped for lunch? We were blank miles from the starting point when we stopped for lunch. Okay, I get what I'm trying to answer here, but honestly, this problem just seems kind of hard for me to visualize in my head. So I think what I'm going to do is kind of draw a picture. So there's a starting point, right? So I'm going to draw a little dot. I'm going to label it SP for starting point. We traveled 17 3/4 miles from the starting point. So they traveled all this way. And how far is this distance? It's 17 3/4. So all the way over here is 17 3/4. Then we rode back 5 1/4 miles. So then if this is 17 3/4, they went back a distance of 5 1/4 of a mile. So let's just say that's right here. I don't really know if that looks very to scale. But we're trying to figure out, I'm going to switch markers here to help my visual brain. We're trying to figure out this distance, right? From the starting point to wherever they're at. Okay. Okay, are you starting to see this a little more? So I noticed that this is kind of like a total, right? This is the total length of how far they traveled. They came back 5 miles and a fourth. And this missing piece is going to be how far they are from the starting point. But technically, these two numbers should add up to 17 3/4, right? So they went a total of 17 3/4 of a mile. They went back 5 1/4, and now we have to figure out how much further do they have to go back to get to the end. So I'm going to subtract 17 3/4 minus 5 1/4. I don't have a lot of room on my paper to make a chart. I might do this in my head. I know that if I subtract 3/4, I'm just kind of looking at my fractions first. 3/4 minus 1/4, that's going to leave me with 2/4. And then if I look at my wholes, 17 minus 5, that's going to put me at 12. 12 plus 5, hold 12 in my head. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, just checking my work. Okay, so I think there's still 12 2/4 miles from the starting point. This should add with this to make this. I can check my work. I'd love if you checked my work. Also, I could technically say that this is 12 1/2 because I know 2/4 is equal to 1/2. Okay, so how did you guys do? Are you starting to understand this, or do you need more practice? Whatever it is you need, that's totally okay. I hope you get a lot of good practice in today with your math work, and I will see you tomorrow.